Alright guys, this is Ted again. I'm going to test this Trangia stove. This is an older Trangia stove, made I think in '65. I'm going to put 1 ounce of fuel in here, right down the center, and we'll see how that goes. I know it takes a little time for them to warm up, so 1 ounce is not a lot in these stoves. These things hold a lot. Meanwhile, got 2 cups of water. I think it'll show up. Carefully measured. Well, that stove's almost blossomed already, which is quite amazing to me. It's ready to go. I hadn't heard a pop yet. A lot of times you get a little pop sound. Didn't get it. I'm going to put this on. Alright, we got her started. Right away I noticed the fuel burning is a yellow instead of blue like the other stoves. Which I don't know if that has something to do with the brass stove. Let me try to just move this over just a hair. I think my little screen material is not the right size for this. Anyway, the pot's almost too small for that protection, or the pot stand. Now that's one thing that's introduced here the other stoves didn't need, a pot stand. A Trangia must have a pot stand. So right off, to me, that's a negative. A little extra weight, the stove's heavier, then you got to have a pot stand. But it will handle very large pots on that pot stand. And you can make a better stand than this. This is just one I had that will work. So we'll see how she goes. I'm curious to see if this will boil as fast as a mini bowl stove or a bottle stove. The flame pattern looks very good. It's not too big for this stove. If you notice, I might lower this a little bit. You can see a little bit more of the pattern. Back it up a touch. Looks pretty good. So we've had a bottle stove, a mini bowl design stove, and the bottle stove has an interior ring, and then the top is rolled over to hold it in. It's pretty nice. Mini bowl design is one solid can rolled into itself, which I think is a cool, very cool idea. These 2 stoves, they're both lightweight, very lightweight stoves. And now so I can leave those sitting there. You can still see the time. 2.5 minutes gone by. No bubbles. Now, Trangia seems to be the favorite stove of most people. I don't know why. Maybe it's just been out there longer. I personally like it a lot. Now, I noticed, and you may notice now, as the stove heats up, the flame pattern increases. It's putting out more heat now than it was. So the longer it burns, the hotter it gets, which may be a good plus. Now we've got 1 ounce. I don't know if that's going to be enough to boil in a Trangia. Little tiny bubbles starting to form on the bottom. Flames are coming out beyond the edge of the pot. Some, not bad, but they are. So the stove has definitely heated up the fuel, and the fuel starts putting out more pressure, which causes the flames to come out over the edge, which is wasting fuel. But if you had a bigger pot, like I said, a 12-centimeter pot would solve all these things. The flames would be just about perfect. We're at almost 4 minutes. Bubbles in the bottom. No sounds yet. One thing about these stoves, they're basically silent. Where a gas stove does make a hissing sound, these have nothing, unless you hear the pots bubbling. Sometimes with some stoves you can hear the alcohol boiling. But this stove is bigger, seems to run a little controlled heat. The flame is more blue than it was. 443. Some bubbles on the side, not much. It's definitely heating up. Pretty hot right in here. It's hot right there for sure. 5 minutes and 3 seconds. Trangia. Made in the 60s this one was. I think 62 or 65. I'd have to look on the bottom. It's starting to boil a little. 522. It's not a rolling boil yet, but there's bubbles moving around all up and down the side. Little bubbles on top. 535. I'm going to move the camera where you can see it, what it's doing. 549. As soon as I notice it's a rolling boil at 553. Yeah, say 553 rolling boil. Definite. So closer to 6 minutes. Let's say 553. That's a definite good boil. So I'm going to put the camera back. Your picture back like it was. We'll kind of see how long this thing burns on 1 ounce. Well, I'm pleased to say that all 3 stoves will boil, hard boil, with 1 ounce of fuel and have excess left. So I'll get these times down and put them in the information when I put it on YouTube. 650 and we still got a hard boil and a good flame. So they're all close. They're not a big deal. You know, nothing's a big deal with them. And this was without a top on all 3 stoves. I kind of like that, keeping the tests very similar. Same pot, no top. Started with empty stoves, fueled them with 1 ounce, and seeing how long they'll burn on 1 ounce. This one's 7.5 already and still going strong. What surprised me about this stove is how fast it bloomed. It bloomed very fast. I'd say as fast as the mini bowl, probably close to it. I've seen some videos where it takes it a while. I guess if you're out in the cold weather, it'd make a big difference. I'm sure the temperature is a big difference on most all these stoves. If you're in a cold weather in the winter, none of them are going to burn as quick as they do now. It'd be harder to get the alcohol to boil and to pressurize the stoves. We're at 8 minutes 15 seconds and still going strong, hard boil. Good flame, perfect flame really for this stove. It's almost like the flame is just about perfect for a 10 centimeter. I still think a 12 centimeter would match all of them better, which I may order me one or buy one of those if I see one. But this is smaller. I guess you need the 12 centimeter if you're going to go do some baking like Tenny's been doing. Which he's kind of perfected the baking with his little 12 centimeter pot and using a cut down 10 centimeter, which I don't think I can do, but Guess you can get the 12 centimeter if you want it. I'm just advising I would get the 12 centimeter overall, but this one is smaller and it's easier, I guess, easier to carry. Mostly I'm carrying stainless steel now. It's 9 minutes, 20 seconds. The flame is pretty much perfectly blue and more than likely getting close to burning out, but it's a beautiful blue flame, which reminds me of carbon felt at this point, perfect blue flame. When it's full, it doesn't do that. When it had 1 ounce, it was yellow. And the flame's slowing down. We still have a rolling boil, approaching a simmer, but 9 minutes, 50 seconds. Still have a flame though, a usable flame. It's getting down there. Clock went out here. Let me turn it back. It's still running. 10:08. Flame's getting way down. Still bubbling. It's a simmer, not a hard boil. More of a simmer. I think it's out. Yeah, it's basically out now at 10 minutes and 20 seconds maybe. The flame's still going, but it's not even a simmer at this point. So I'll show you this. It's still burning. There's little bubbles in there, but flame's out. So there we go, guys. I guess I'll wrap it up for this show. Get back with you another time.